Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Greater Rockville Chamber of Commerce AI Educational Series. I would like to introduce you to Mia Kynadi, who's a data scientist, entrepreneur, and early stage investor with a track record of co-founding tech companies in India and the US. She's co-founder and CEO of VentureFactory.AI, a global AI venture studio, and leads Beyond Z LLC, a US-based digital transformational firm. As joint managing director at VentureWay, she drives global tech investments and startup ecosystem growth. An active angel investor, she serves on the board of governors at Sparks Angel Network. Mia holds advanced degrees and certifications in AI and data science from SUNY Buffalo, MIT, Stanford, and Harvard. She's also the founder of Chaya Foundation, which supports education for underprivileged children in India, and is establishing the Gitai Foundation in Geneva to promote global empowerment through AI. Okay, Mia, I'm going to turn it over to you, and thank you so much. This is our sales and marketing session, I believe.
That's right. Thank you so much, Margie. It's a pleasure to be here, third week. And I was saying I'm getting used to being a part of the Rockville Chamber of Commerce. So today's session is about marketing and sales. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen very quickly. Let's see, where is my presentation? There it is. Okay. Can you see my screen? Good. Okay. So we're talking today about AI for sales and marketing. And we're going to get into some of the techniques that have been used, what kind of data we need for that, and what kind of impact those techniques have. So the agenda for today, AI and the customer journey. I know that for marketing professionals, the customer journey is very familiar. I'll try not to be redundant, but I'm going to talk a bit about it just to set the stage for the rest of the presentation. And we have the AI-driven customer insights and personalization. We're going to talk about how AI helps to segment customers and target messaging, AI to predict customer behavior and sales trends, and we'll close with enhancing customer engagement with chatbots and AI assistants. So AI and the customer journey. So the traditional customer journey is a bit linear. And like I was saying, I know many of you might be already familiar with this. It starts with the awareness of a need. And then, the customer goes and identifies alternatives. That's the exploration phase. And then you get info about alternatives, you evaluate alternatives. So that's the exploration, the education phase. And then finally, you make a purchase, you use the product, and then there's the post-purchase evaluation. That post-purchase phase is also the advocacy phase, where based on their experience with the product, they're going to then, talk about it perhaps on social media, get some product reviews, and so on. This is the traditional journey. It's somewhat linear and it's easier to track. But today, the customer journey is non-linear. And you can see on the left-hand side, the traditional one, where it goes from awareness to purchase. But on the right-hand side is the non-linear journey where, the people engage with the product in various forums, and they can go from any stage to any other stage. They can contact sales at any point in their journey. It's very non-linear. It's more difficult to track. And that's what necessitates the customer journey mapping. And once we map the customer journey, it's possible to then use that data also to segment customers and get further details. So what are some of the customer data points? What are some of the resources from where we collect customer data points? Customer feedback from support tickets, survey responses, of course. Social media engagement is now a trove of data where we get an idea about what customers are saying about products, what competitors' products are, what the reviews of competitors' products are, and so on. Product reviews directly, customer service call records, website browsing data, purchase history. So these are things that talk about the customer. But in addition to that, we can also today collect contextual data. For example, geolocation data will tell us where the customer is today. And then we can target, perhaps if they're in a cold place, and we can target products that relate to where they are today in place and time. So based on all of that data that we collect about the customer, we then make a customer journey map. It's a detailed mapping of how the customer interacts with the business. So we're going to document the various touch points that the customer has with the business, what the intention is at each touch point, the pain points perhaps that they have at a touch point, the needs of the customer that we're trying to address at each touch point. What content are they engaging with? What could be some of the KPIs that could measure success at each touch point? What are the various platforms and channels through which the customer engages with our product, with our company? So practically, this is a template of a journey map that I've just pasted here just to highlight what are the data points that we could collect, which could then be used to train AI models, right? So for example, you would have a persona for the customer because you have various types of customers that engage with your business. So you would have personas for all those different types of customers. And for each persona, for each stage in the journey, be it awareness or education or consideration, we're going to map and document each touch point, what channel that touch point is on, what are the ideas that could improve their experience, what are some of the KPIs that could measure success, and what is the process at that touch point. What has been customer experience? We can have it specifically for each customer and also a broader picture of what customers feel at each touch point. What is the content they're engaging with at each touch point? What is the goals? What are the challenges customers face? Some problems, and what are the needs that we're trying to address? So this is a wealth of data that we could collect about the customer and use this data to then train AI models, also to run customer interaction analytics. Traditionally, we would collect this data manually and we would run analytics manually. But today, the data collection is automated to a large extent with AI, and the analytics is automated as well. So the speed and scale at which you can run these analytics is significantly higher because of AI. So customer interaction analytics. So once we have all that data about the customer, we then can run AI analytics to get this trove of information about each customer as well as the business at large. And this has been done before traditionally as well. But what changes with AI is that we're able to do it at scale, and we're also able to do it real time. We get these statistics as they happen, right? So some of the things that you can look at are, what are people talking about your brand? What are the most popular hashtags? What are the sentiments related to these hashtags? And many other things, depending on the data that you're collecting. And these kind of statistics can come off of email, websites, the social media, chat, phone records, and so on. The phone calls that they've had with your company, of course. And given that data, then we are able to do better customer engagement, personalized content. We can do product recommendations, and we can do automated issue resolutions and more. And we're going to get into some of these in more detail. So recommender systems are some thing that we're all familiar with. So I just wanted to touch upon it briefly. We've seen it in all the e-commerce platforms like Amazon. We see it in Netflix, how it recommends movies for us based on our viewing history. In fact, Netflix ran a competition many years ago to build a recommendation system, and then they incorporated the winning design. So recommender systems use our past history, past purchases, past ratings, user profiles to predict for us what we might like. And what that looks like really is, for example, Amazon will say customers who bought this item also bought, or people like you bought. And they're valuable both to the customer and to the company. So to the customer, you can learn about new products. Another thing with e-commerce today is that the retail space is almost infinite. For whatever product you're looking for, there are just so many options to consider. So recommender systems do help you to narrow it down a bit because they're saying, okay, we think you might like this, or other people have bought this. So that narrows it down a bit for us. And to firms, it allows them to convert browsers to buyers, cross-sell other products, and increase loyalty. So these are the examples, like I was saying earlier, Amazon, Google, it gives you news articles based on what you've engaged with in the past. Netflix recommends movies. And there are two main recommended designs. And the reason I wanted to mention it is because in case you want to set up something like this, I just wanted to talk through what are the data points that you would need. So there are content-based recommenders and collaborative filtering recommenders. Content-based recommenders is where every product has its own rich metadata. So you describe the product with metadata, describing its genre, if it's music, for example, or movies, or if it's a product, its physical attributes, everything that would be relevant, you store it with the product. And when a customer is looking for something, they match it with this metadata to give them a relevant recommendation. So the quality of the recommendations do depend on the quality of the metadata. And metadata essentially is just a description of what that product is. So those are content-based recommenders. And for that, you need rich descriptions of products. Collaborative filtering, on the other hand, it recommends products to you based on what you have engaged with in the past and what people like you, similar to you, have engaged with in the past. And that's how Netflix works, for example. So for that, you need a broader user base, you need a broad range of products, and then the collaborative filtering works across that. Pros and cons of each. Collaborative filtering, you don't need metadata, you don't need rich descriptions, and it will help you discover new items. The cons are that it has a popularity bias. The more people engage with a product, that's what's going to get recommended to others as well. So if you have a broad product portfolio, there is a small risk that your niche items might get overlooked a bit. Content-based recommenders, the pros is that it doesn't have a popularity bias. You know why it's recommending something. Like you have indicated that you like a certain type of movie, then it's going to recommend movies in that genre. The difficulty with it is that you need to build this very detailed description for each product. And so Spotify, for example, uses a hybrid recommender where they are using an AI model, a machine learning to automate the process of generating this description, right? Based on how products are described online or in their product manuals, etc. These models are then able to generate rich metadata for each product. And then they're able to use a content-based filtering method. And this works very well. Another thing that AI can do, moving on along the chain, so you've done the exploration and the discovery and the education, and you come to the purchase phase. What AI can do is provide real-time personalized promotions, give you real-time discounts based on your history, based on what the AI determines you might take. And it's also when the person is browsing, you can identify what is the best time to prompt for a purchase based on engagement levels. And once the customer has made a purchase, there is a lot of support required in the post-purchase phase. They need onboarding support, they may need installation support. And what AI allows you to do is to have round-the-clock support for the customer. You can resolve common issues quickly. You can have chatbots with a better understanding of the product and of the customer. And of course, there may be complicated queries which do require human intervention, and those should be handled by human customer service agents, but you can have chatbots to take a load off your human resources. And this really gives your customers a sense that they are well supported by your brand, and it can improve brand loyalty. It's just a summary of what we talked about already. I'm going to skip. This is summary again about the difference between the traditional journey and the AI enhanced journey. So in the data collection phase, when you're collecting data about your customers, traditionally it's manual, it's periodic, it could be survey based, but in using AI tools, you're able to do it continuously in an automated manner in real time. As the people are engaging with your business or your product, you're able to get data from the multiple touch points. And today, things move so fast that survey-based data collection could, for some enterprises be too slow. By the time you run that survey and get the data back, things have already moved forward. In terms of personalization, traditionally, we do segment customers based on criteria that humans would give. So it could be based on gender, could be based on age groups, geographic location, etc. But these sort of silos are very broad and not very nuanced. And there's a lot of tacit information in how people engage with products and services. But using AI and using AI segmentation, you can get a more nuanced segmentation of your customers. And that allows you to do hyper-personalized messaging and outreach. In terms of customer support, you have human agents, but of course there are limitations on the hours and the response time. Chatbots can be 24/7 and immediate response. And again, I think a mix of the two is the right way to go. There are queries that do require human agents. And like we spoke about last week with the Klarna example, it might be important also for people calling in to know that they can easily reach a human agent if they want to. In terms of marketing campaigns, in a traditional approach, it is scheduled. It's one size fits all in some ways, but with AI, it's dynamic, it's intent-based, and you can be triggered by real-time behavior. As the user is engaging with your website or your platform, you can have content put out for them. And feedback and optimization. Again, feedback is slower in a traditional scenario, and optimization comes after the fact analysis. But with AI tools, feedback is immediate, analysis is immediate, so you can take action faster. Going to get into customer insights and personalization and how AI enables that. So some of the capabilities that AI brings to the table, as I already mentioned in a way, is real-time analysis. You're able to understand your customers in real time as they're engaging with your platforms. And you can analyze at scale. You can analyze high volumes of structured and unstructured customer data in real time. So that is the ability that AI adds to the table. And you can, analyze emails, chats, social media posts, reviews, all of that data can be analyzed by AI, purchase history, browsing history, and more. So what are some of the outcomes that are enabled by this kind of at scale, real-time analysis? You can understand your customers' preferences. You can predict their needs early on so that then you're able to cater to it. You can predict churn, which is the risk that you may lose a customer. And if an AI model predicts that a customer is likely to leave, you can then intervene with perhaps some offers or discounts and try to retain them. There is a statistic that it is several times harder to get a new customer than it is to retain an existing one. So in that sense, predicting churn is fairly important. Of course, you could personalize your messaging and outreach. You could schedule your outreach based on the user's history, when they're most likely to respond. You can identify channels of outreach, knowing when how a customer prefers to be contacted. And these are things that AI can do at scale. Perhaps if you have 10 customers, you could look at it manually and you can definitely cater to that. But when you grow, to be able to do it real time at scale is the ability that AI brings in. So I'd like to talk about an example of Starbucks and how they have transformed their retail journey with AI. Of course, they have seasonal offers and they have a lot of new products that come through. But as early as 2019, they used an AI-powered tool called Deep Brew to personalize their offerings, and they got a lot of success in that. So this is the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, talking about Starbucks' efforts in the AI space. I'm just going to play that video.
One of the things that's so exciting to see is the software engineers at Starbucks, their ambition to completely incorporate digital throughout. Blockchain and sustainability, IoT and the coffee machines, as well as AI.
Today we'd like to show you some of the exciting things we've been doing in our labs and in our stores. As all of you know, Starbucks is all about human connection, and we love the experience of our customers in our stores with our baristas. But technology is playing a bigger and bigger role in those interactions.
We're here today at Build Conference to take you through what we're doing with personalized recommendations. I'm going to go ahead and have the sous vide egg bites with bacon Gruyere.
So what just happened here is we're actually using our Deep Brew AI platform to be able to suggest optimal product pairings based off of contextual information of the store, the weather, and other things that are going on.
So that's a quick look at Deep Brew. And before Deep Brew, they had generic offers, they had seasonal campaigns, but with Deep Brew, they're able to do very personalized recommendations delivered instantly. And the impact that they're seeing is greater customer satisfaction, greater customer loyalty. And these are some statistics on that. So Starbucks noted a 30% increase in ROI. Their engagement, customer engagement, increased by 15%. And that number, that statistic, 30% mobile orders, that's where these recommendation engines were working a lot, and that's where they've seen a significant increase. So Starbucks really did see a lot of impact using the AI solution. Ulta Beauty is another example that has used AI-driven marketing. They have seen, again, enhanced customer engagement. They have integrated AI across their loyalty chain, across their communication channels, and they have very detailed customer profiles. So they're able to do very targeted campaigns. Interestingly, 95% of their sales comes from returning customers that are enrolled in their loyalty program. And this is all driven by their data insights that they get from analytics. Some statistics for Ulta, they have 44 million active members. Per member, the average spend went up from $950 to $1,700 a year. Incredible increase in click-through rate for their content, 317% increase in click-through rate. And their conversion rate also increased from 13.2 to 34.1%. So there's great statistics for Ulta using AI methodologies. They have improved engagements. They're able to generate, using AI, about 20 personalized ad tiles per customer. That's a lot. And although they're doing personalized marketing, their marketing costs have reduced year over year. So personalization is essentially supercharging your outreach. You are holistically adjusting your communications based on your customers' characteristics, knowing what kind of messages are they likely to respond to, what kind of channels work for them, what messaging schedules work for them. Also, what kind of products might they be interested in? When might they be most likely to purchase? I think those statistics help you to really reach out at the right time with the right message to then garner the right response. In addition to all this customer data, you can also cater to customers based on their context. Like I mentioned earlier, using geolocation data, you're able to then see what do they need in their current place and time. You can follow up based on predicted requirements on past purchases and essentially foster greater brand loyalty. Talking about customer segmentation and targeted marketing. This is an area where AI really brings in productivity boosts. So let's look at customer segmentation. AI allows you to discover customer groups. So rather than a human deciding what parameters are going to be used to segment customers, you can use AI to cluster your customer base to then discover groups in a more nuanced manner. And the parameters that could be used would be geographic, demographic, behavioral, psychological, and more. So you're able to identify customer trends and patterns. And this sort of clustering pulls up a lot of insights that may not be intuitive. You may find a group of customers that are grouped together and look into it and then realize that there is an insight there that you could then market a certain way to that segment. So you can do targeted marketing, personalization, customer churn prediction, and also you can budget better because now you know customer segments, you're targeting your marketing efforts, you could budget better and reduce wasted resources. This is just what segmentation could look like. This is the output of a clustering algorithm, and each dot is a customer, and we've sort of grouped them into 5 clusters. And each cluster is characterized by a certain amount of money they spend, certain number of products they purchase, a certain number of complaints. So then you could then, target your messaging to each group in a different manner. And the number of clusters, you can specify that and see how that algorithm works and what kind of customers are grouped together without really knowing beforehand what those parameters of segmentation might be. And once you segment your customers, what you can then do is target ads in every phase of the journey. You can use real-time geolocation data. You can do upselling and cross-selling. And the impact that this has in the end is increased conversion rates, increased retention, and increased customer satisfaction. This is an example, a company called Stitch Fix. They're US based. They are an outfit or a clothing recommendation and selling company. So they have style experts who recommend outfits to their customers, and then the customers buy based on those recommendations. And the recommendations are based on user preferences. The customers have in detail provided preferences, and then the recommendations are based on that. So they have an AI system that gives style combinations, suggests style combinations. They use a GPT for generating advertising material, and then it's reviewed by experts before it goes out. They have a very vast inventory, right? And they use recommender systems, right? So they need every product to have a very rich description. So they use a GPT for generating these descriptions. And it generates about 10,000 descriptions every 30 minutes because they have a very vast inventory, and they have an inventory that's very dynamic, that's changing. So it's very difficult for a human workforce to generate descriptions for every single piece, every single combination for their customers. And they also use GPTs to help stylists better understand their customers' preferences. And the need for a GPT there is because many customers have interacted with Stitch Fix over a length of time and have mentioned many, aspects of their preferences over time. So it's very difficult for a human resource to then go through all of that data every time before making a recommendation. So they use a GPT to comb through all of that and make a recommendation that is in keeping with everything that the customer has already told the company before. They also have an outfit creation model that generates outfit combinations every day based on their dynamic changing inventory. So a lot of productivity seen in Stitch Fix using AI solutions. Another thing is a downside, I think, with surveys is that people don't always say what their true leanings may be. So I think tracking online behavior, tracking social media, tracking the kind of content they're engaging with can give a better idea of real intent, and that can help you to optimize outreach content based on those statistics. There's the story of a company that ran a bunch of surveys with doctors and developed a product based on the outcome of those surveys, but then had no buyers in the end. And that's a bit of a disconnect between survey responses and actual intent. And AI allows you to navigate through that a bit better. So using AI to predict customer behavior and sales trends, because we are collecting data about how the customer engages with the companies and with the product, and what kinds of reviews they've given, their sentiments, we can then predict customer behavior. We can also predict sales trends. So Brand Brains is a product at a company called WPP. They're a marketing agency, probably one of the biggest in the world. This is a video that features Stefan Pretorius, the global CTO, talking about a product that allows them to estimate how their customers would react to a certain product. So they have, as we mentioned before, personas. They have personas that they can use, and these personas respond to product recommendations. And this whole thing is digital, it is hypothetical, but it allows them to get a sense of the real response when they launch a product before they actually launch it. When their clients launch products, rather. I'm going to play the video. Oops, sorry. Do you still see my screen? Do you still see my presentation? I think I've just, there we are.
Can apply the brand brain to create a persona. This is an entirely artificial stand-in for the target audience that can give feedback on what will resonate with consumers.
So let me take you through this. You have your persona. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use that persona to create a synthetic focus group. I can take, for instance, this hand wash idea here, and I can say, copy it in there, and I say, here's my idea. What does that eco-conscious Gen Z consumer say about it? And now what you're doing is you're taking a human-generated idea and testing it against a synthetic focus group that's been based on actual marketing and research data. And so you get a quick response, but you can also then speak to this persona and say, that's cool, you know, what should the packaging be? And you can then effectively have a conversation with this synthetic focus group. And so you can see, Raja, this is stuff that we always were able to do in real life in marketing, but never at this scale, never at this speed, and never at this incredibly low cost, right? Because you know what this would have taken in the real world to build something like this.
So yeah, that's one of the, it's a great ability based on actual customer data that they've collected. They have generated synthetic focus groups so that they can get a really good idea about what customer feedback might be for a certain product. This is their proprietary platform, but it just highlights the kind of ability that AI brings to the table. AI to predict trends. So the graph shown here is just a graph of how trends work. Some are classic trends where the user adoption increases over time and then it stays fairly high for an extended period of time. Those are the classics. Then you have the mainstream trends where user adoption increases, it's fairly high for a given amount of time, and then it tapers off. So that's a mainstream trend. And then you have fads, which just come and go very quickly. So you can use AI to analyze the market to understand what are the products that are going to be trending, and what is the nature of the trend. Is it likely to be a classic? Is it going to be a mainstream trend, or is it just a fad? And why this is important is because you can then prepare for what's coming ahead. And another feature in today's day is that these curves are shrinking, right? The timeline of these trends are shrinking. The time that it takes for a trend to hit the market, the time for people to want that product has really gone down. You know, somebody might like a certain flavor in Bangkok, and somebody in New York hears about it that same day and then wants that flavor. So that's the kind of timelines we're talking about today. So it's very important to be able to understand the market, have you know, your finger on the pulse, so to speak, so that your company can be ready for it. And AI, real-time analytics, and its ability to really summarize unstructured data, to really mine social media, to really mine sentiment, allows you to really understand the anatomy of trends as they come in. And that can reduce the time to develop new products. You can get into R&D and product development sooner as you see that things are coming in. And one of the main things that can kill a trend or that can keep you out of a trend is not having the supply at the right time. So it's great to be ready for what your customers are going to want in the future. And we come to enhancing customer engagement with chatbots and AI assistants. We've talked about chatbots a bit in the last few sessions. We talked about knowledge-based management. We've talked about customer service support using AI agents. And here we're talking about how we can enhance customer engagement. I'm going to use the Stitch Fix example again. They have an AI assistant which allows you to try on outfits before you purchase. So that really reduces the return rates, 30% reduction in return rates. They also have AI-powered customer service chatbot. It handles 60% of the queries, instant styling advice when needed, it's timely and efficient. It improves client engagement. So these are chatbots and AI assistants custom built for their company, which then has given them excellent productivity, and that really makes sense. So the future of customer engagement, this is a survey by Gartner. Three things they're mentioning: AI-driven personalization, automation of issue resolution, and enhanced insights into customer journey, which then works into personalization and targeted marketing. So I wanted to talk about what you could do today, right? Given all of this content that we've engaged with, what could you try out or tinker with today to get a sense of, how it might help? So custom GPTs are a great tool that you can just use off the shelf. It's ChatGPT allows you to make custom GPTs. In an earlier session, I talked about a custom GPT that we use as a marketing executive. It knows our voice, and so it's able to generate content that's in keeping with the organization. So I'm going to play a video here that talks a bit about how you can make your own custom GPT, and I hope you guys will try it.
Up your very own custom GPT. It's a personalized version of ChatGPT that you can build to act like your own AI assistant, specializing in specific tasks, tones, or even knowledge areas. To build your very own custom GPT, over on the left-hand side navigation, you'll see an option for Explore GPTs. Let's click here. Here, we could see some examples. If I scroll down just a little bit, we could see some of the trending GPTs. Here we have one called Scholar GPT, and this has been trained on peer-reviewed content. That's the knowledge base of this GPT. If we go down a little bit more, here we have one that specializes in website creation, logo creation. If we go down a little bit more, here we have one called the Data Analyst, and this specializes in looking at your data and coming back with insights. And we have all sorts of other examples. If you would like to make your own, in the top right-hand corner, let's click on the Create button. There are two different ways that you could set up your custom GPT. You could use a chat interface to define how it should work, or over here we could click into Configure. You could assign an image, you could give it a name, a description, and also specific instructions. You could also type in your different conversation starters. Now this gives it a lot of power. You could also upload different documents to contribute to the knowledge that this GPT uses to respond to questions. So you could upload things like PDFs or FAQs or maybe a product manual, and then you could ask questions specific to those materials. Right down below, you could also turn on or off different capabilities. Should your GPT be able to search the web? Should it have access to the canvas, image generation? And you also have the code interpreter and data analysis. Down at the bottom, and this is one of the most powerful aspects.
So that's a peek into how you can just make your custom GPTs. Very easy to do. This is the ChatGPT interface, the web interface, and you can have your own GPT up and running in no time. And you can upload files, as he was mentioning, so that you can give this GPT knowledge about your own context, and it would give answers based on that. So what would be some of the use cases, even for a small business? If you have marketing content, etc., you could upload some of those, and then this GPT can help you generate more content, be it social media posts or blogs or whatever that may be. It also has access to code interpreter and data analysis. So very quickly, if you have numbers, if you have Excel sheets with data, you can upload that and have a quick analysis ready for you. So this is a very powerful tool, something that you can try very quickly. OpenAI has made it very easy to build custom GPTs. Tasks. Another thing that ChatGPT now can do is scheduled tasks. So you can set it up to do scheduled tasks, and then that can be add a lot of productivity to your day. Let's play this video.
With ChatGPT tasks, you can schedule ChatGPT to run at specific times, like having your own AI assistant on autopilot. Here in ChatGPT, to use tasks, in the top left-hand corner, click on the model dropdown, and here we see all the different models. There's now a new option called GPT-4o with scheduled tasks. Ask ChatGPT to follow up later. Let's click on that. And right here we have our text field. We can now prompt the AI and also include items that we'd like to see in the future. As an example, working at the Kevin Cookie Company, I think it would be helpful to see the latest news about cookies, things like product launches, industry trends, legal updates, and trending recipes. And I'd like to get that every single morning. So let's see if ChatGPT can handle this. If we scroll up the page now, I can see a sample of what this roundup will look like every single morning. There I have my product launches, industry trends, legal updates, trending recipes, and this looks really good. Now right here it says, would you like to receive this cookie news roundup every morning? Yes, I would. Let's type in yes and let's send that. Right up above, I can see the new task, summarize cookie news. I can click on this and here I see all the details. I see the name, the instructions, and also the schedule for when this should run. To be able to see all of your different tasks, in the top right-hand corner, click on your profile picture, and here there's now a new option for tasks. Let's click on this. Right here, I can see all of my different scheduled tasks.
So that's another useful tool that you could just keep tinker with at work or at home. Even for small businesses, for example, handling social media can be difficult to generate timely content, whatever your schedule may be, if it's daily or weekly. You could have a ChatGPT task set up to generate content for you on your schedule. Or perhaps you would like a daily roundup of the news in your industry so that you can stay top of it, or you could have a daily roundup of share prices. Many things you can do with scheduled tasks. So just some of the things that you could just do right off the gate, off the shelf. So this is just a brief look at a product of ours. Very often when we talk to companies, they do want to start using AI, but they just don't know where to start, how to begin. So readinessreview.ai is an offering of ours where we work with the company. It's a short process spread over 2 weeks, work with the company to understand their business, their interests, their goals, also to understand their readiness in terms of data, processes, tech stack, HR, etc. And in the end, we give a report, which is a customized AI roadmap. How can you get ready in terms of these different dimensions? And what would be some of the projects that you could consider for your company and industry? So we usually offer it at $3,000. We have a special offer for the Rockville Chamber of Commerce at $2,000. So if anybody is interested, please do reach out to us. There's Jason's email down there, jason@ventureway.com. Please also do CC bd@ventureway.com. So that's it from me for today. Thank you so much.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? It was an excellent presentation again. Thank you so much, Mia.
Thank you.
No questions, huh? I took a lot of notes. Well, we're going to continue this series and we're going to do it next Thursday with Sean. Sean is on, Sean Griffin from Longman and Van Grack. Sean, do you want to just say what we're going to follow up with for your presentation in Thursday, June 5th at 8:30? It's going to be called Practical AI Policies for Smart Businesses. Do you want to talk about that briefly?
Yeah, I want to talk about it a little bit, and I think it's going to be a great follow-up to Mia's excellent series that we have here, because she showed us everything we can do with AI and all of the possibilities. And I'm an attorney, so I'm going to come along and put a wet blanket on all of that. No, I'm not going to put a wet blanket on it, but I'm going to say, how to use it, because if you're like me, you see a lot of news stories about how people are using AI in ways that are not particularly wise. I'm an attorney, so I see a lot of attorneys submitting briefs that were written with AI, and they contain a lot of statements by other courts that simply do not exist. The statements do not exist. Sometimes the courts don't exist. And that's a great way to get yourself into trouble. And businesses do the same thing. There was a story a few weeks ago about the car dealership that used AI to create a chatbot, and the chatbot was authorized to negotiate car prices. And some clever person figured out that if they were talking to an AI, it got the chatbot to sell him, I think it was a 2025 Camaro for like $10 or something like that. And there was a lawsuit over it. The court said, well, the AI was authorized, give him the Camaro, he'll give you the $10. And so there are a lot of landmines and around AI and its usage that you can step into if you're not careful. So I'll show you the way to use all of the great things that Mia has taught you in a responsible manner to avoid getting into trouble, how to set forth a policy that keeps you out of trouble, keeps you out of business trouble, keeps you out of legal trouble, and how to increase risk while using AI to its fullest potential. So I think it'll be a great complement to Mia's series. I'm looking forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you so much, Sean. We were talking after one of Mia's presentations about how the chamber can put an AI policy, in place. So we want to do everything right. So we have these experts to help us along the way. So I'm really thankful for this. And what else was I going to say? So that's going to be Thursday, June 5th at 8:30. And I hope you'll come on. I did have a question, Mia. When someone tries to do a chat bot, and what happens if you do it wrong or it's not working right? Can you take it down? I'm always scared.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm always scared to try something new that something will mess up or it doesn't come across right, and I just want to be able to know that I can delete it.
Absolutely. You can delete it. Yeah. And it would be great to tinker with it and get a sense of it. And, you'd get more comfortable and familiar with it. And I think Sean would also have guidelines on what kind of data you could put out into a chatbot, perhaps. I'm actually looking forward to attending his session as well. So, yeah.
Great, great. I've enjoyed your session. And yes, the data that goes into the chatbot is very important, as we'll discuss next week.
Okay. And I want to thank Pam from Clark Communications for sponsoring our AI series and bringing us on the train moving forward. So thank you so much, Pam, for that. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay. After Sean's presentation, we're going to skip a week, and then the following week, we're talking to Hub International also about AI and how to avoid some insurance pitfalls. So that we're going to just kind of keep continuing to learn in our series. So I'm happy to see everyone here, and I guess that's it for me. So thank you very much, and everyone enjoy your day.
Thank you very much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.